New York Comic Con is coming fast, so today I want to count down my top 10 Funko Pops of 2023. And now remember, this is my top 10, and if you guys have your own top 10, put it in the comments. But now, coming in at number 10, we have one that is pretty interesting, also one of the most unique ones for the convention. It is the Pop Classics Captain America. And now the reason that I've got this at 10 is because there's nothing different going on with the actual vault. It's the same as all of the other ones, which I am totally okay with. And also, we've seen Captain America's in the past, but I still think it's a really cool pop. It's just out of all of the unique molds and crazy characters they created, this one is a little bit behind them. Even though I love the way the figure turned out. Now, they actually sculpted the A into his mask, and then also the shield looks really great, and it's just an updated version of that one that came out back in like 2010, 2011. Also, the pin, coin, and card really do make this like a nice bundle if you were to purchase it. It is really neat. Oh, and if you guys don't know why Funko's making these, it's actually for their 25th anniversary. They're going back and doing some of the classics. That's why it's called Pop Classics. Now, coming in at number 9, we have a pretty interesting one. This is the Toxic Avenger. A character that I know a lot of people have been talking about, especially because the only version we've got of him is a glow-in-the-dark one. And so if you're a fan of this character, you're really getting it all in one. Because they did not leave any details out. He's got his, like, weapon in his hand, and if I'm gonna be honest, I've never really figured out what that is. Maybe, like, a toxic broom? Maybe? I'm not sure. And then also, the eyes are a little bit wonky. It really does look great, but also, you know, kind of gross at the same time. So definitely a fun character to pick up at the con. Alrighty, pop number 8, and we have Darth Maul. A sick figure that they created for the convention, especially because the way he's got the metal legs and the attack pose that he's in, it's just really well done in general. The only reason that I didn't put this higher up on my list is because we've got a couple other Darth Mauls recently, and even though this one, in my opinion, is probably the best of the bunch, I still think it takes away a little bit that we just got a 2-pack with him and Ahsoka. And I'm looking at the back of the box here. I'm pretty sure the head is the exact same. The only thing they swapped was the printing a little bit because his face has a bit of a different expression, but besides that, yeah, I think it's the same. Oh, and another thing that I really enjoy about actually most of the Star Wars characters recently is that they figured out a way to make the lightsabers like straight as a pin. Before, they would be a little bit wonky or kind of bent, but the Darth Maul one looks perfect. Now getting into number 7, I've got a pretty interesting one. This is actually one of Funko's own characters that I believe is only going to be at the convention because it is limited to 1,000 pieces. But we have the glow-in-the-dark Sidfish. If you're unaware, Funko's actually going to be doing it as a heavy metal Halloween theme. So this one here is a Halloween character, heavy metal. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's in the name. I also think one of my favorite parts is that they actually based the names of these characters off of other actual musicians. And this one's really cool because, you know, it's based off Sid Vicious. Also, I just think it's really cool how much detail Funko designers actually put into these characters because the guitar in the front, as well as the way he's got the pick in his hand, and then even like he's got an earring on his gill. I don't know, they really just thought of everything, and that's why I really enjoy this guy. Oh, and I also really enjoy that they each have their own logo on the back. Look at that there. Now for number 6, I have a figure that I never thought Funko was ever going to create, but it really is cool that they did end up making it. The one that I'm of course talking about is the Ghostbusters Afterlife Spirit Spangler. Now, they hadn't actually made a character for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I would say probably since the movie released because they never did a Wave 2, so I thought it was really cool that they actually continued the set with this one. I also really enjoy how the figure is pretty much completely translucent, like you can see through his suit as well as his head, and the glasses are even somewhat translucent. Also, the hair, because it's a little bit thicker, it's hard to tell, but there is a little bit of opacity. And now this one here, if I'm gonna be honest, feels like a figure that's probably gonna sell out right away, so if you're thinking of picking it up, I would get it as quick as possible. Now everybody, we are halfway through the list, and coming in at number 5, we have Indiana Jones. I love this character, and I also love that they've been making more Indiana Jones figures in general, but I feel like out of all of the normal kind of standalone versions of him, this one's my favorite. Because it's not just him standing there with a torch. If you look at the bottom, it's actually him in the pit of snakes. Why's it gotta be snakes? It looks like they ended up putting like 3 cobras down there, as well as like 2 or 3 torches. I don't know, I'm just loving this thing. And I do understand that this head here is pretty much the exact same across all 3 or maybe 4 different versions of Indiana Jones. Like if you take a look on the back here, I believe it's the exact same as both this one and this one. But for some reason, the way they made it look almost seems like it's a completely different head. And I don't know how to explain that, but it does for some reason. And also because the base is so different, that's why I put this one above Darth Maul. Because I know I was talking about him earlier and how he has the same head, but this one just feels different enough. Now at number 4, we have McNugget with pails, and I would have probably not had this one on my list if it weren't for those 3 pails in the front. Or at least it would have been lower on the list, like maybe 9 or 10, just because we have so many other nuggets, but this one really sets itself apart from the rest of them. And it's because of those pails. It's actually a huge thing that McDonald's does every year in their Happy Meals. You can actually buy all 3 of those pails, and I saw that they're coming back again this year also with another new one. I believe it's purple. So really, really neat. And I'm probably going to want to pick up that new one for myself because I do have some of the other ones. Oh, maybe I'll get them too. I don't know. But anyways, just a really fun way to do it. And I also just noticed now that he's got these giant kind of like Frankenstein hands holding them. How did I not notice that? Now, everyone, we're getting into the top 3. And I feel like you guys are going to find these ones a little bit controversial. And it's because I don't watch a lot of anime. The only ones that I've really watched are Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and My Hero Academia. I know, not much. And I really should be watching that live action One Piece. I just haven't done it yet. And so that's why you're not seeing any of the anime ones in my top 10, just because I don't know the characters too well, even though the sculpts really do look great. And so let's just get into my top 3 here, starting with at number 3, of course, we've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem Ravelay. I just love this character, and there's just so much detail with him here, especially with the little knife in his hand, and then when you take him out, you can actually see like random junk on his back. Like, take a look at this, everybody. On the back side here, he's got some detail that you would not see unless you took him out of the box, and then the snorkel and goggles, it's really great again. Then also the patterns he's got on the underside of his fin, and his mouth with the really like wrecked up teeth. I don't know, I love this thing. And so that is definitely why I put this one in my top 3, just because of how far they actually went with it. Also, I really enjoyed the movie, so I feel like that kind of plays into it as well, and I just like to see new characters, and I kind of wish that we also got a Mondo Gecko, so Funko, if you're gonna make any more, I would love to see him soon. Alright, now everybody, we have made it to number 2 on my list. And I feel like this one here, a lot of you guys are going to agree with on. It's another one of those mascots for the Heavy Metal Halloween, and the one that we've got here is Jack Carver. Just such a great one. I love that he's got the scoop with all of the pumpkin guts, as well as the flames coming out of the front, and then the way he's actually got the candle on the top. Also, I noticed that they made this one metallic, and then I wanted to take it out of the box because there was another detail that I didn't talk about last time I talked about this guy. Talked about, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's get back to the character here, because the thing I wanted to mention was that on the backside there, on his jacket, you can actually see like a Funko patch. I also really enjoy the way it's stapled up on the top. That's something you couldn't see too well when it was in the box. And then the Trick or Treat t-shirt, just really well done in general. Oh, and of course, the drumsticks on the side, and they're actually caught on fire. How cool is that too? And now, everyone, coming in at my number 1 spot on the list, we have honestly the coolest one in my opinion from the convention. And to give you guys a bit of a hint, it's another Heavy Metal Halloween character, one created by Funko, and this, I don't know, it's just so cool in my opinion. We have the Freddy Bones. I love this pop, especially with the mask off to the side, and then the way they made it look like Freddy's face, but it only being a skull. It's really weird how they did it, but they somehow pulled it off. Like, do you guys know what I'm saying? It's the same face structure as Freddy somehow, and then also, I like the hair on top too. And then he's got the bag in his hand like he's just gone shopping at the booth. He also has the yellow and blue pants, and then on the front there, he's got that old Freddy Funko logo. Also, another thing that I've got to mention, so let's take him out of the box to talk about it, is the giant mask on the side of his head. This is just such a crazy detail. And it's almost like you're getting 2 full Funko faces in one figure. I just love how they did that. Oh, and another thing I've got to mention is his skeleton hands. Now you can see every little bone, and then just at the bottom of his pants, you can see those bone legs. So seriously, a creative one on Funko's part, and that's why I had to put it at number 1. And so there we go, everybody, my top 10 Funko Pops for New York Comic Con 2023. And again, let me know your top 10 in the comment section below. Or if you don't want to put your entire top 10, just your favorite one of the convention, I would love to hear it. But anyways, this has been a lot of fun, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow.